back with more Buffy. It feels good to say that, and hopefully it feels good to hear it again as well. It's been a little bit of a wait in between season 3 and 4, but as I'm sure most of you guys know, I took a bit of a break from doing a lot of my reactions to do my dissertation, which has now been submitted. Pass or fail, it's done. So yeah, let's try and forget that for a while before I get the grade back, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for all your patience waiting for me to get to this season. Thank you for all your amazing support on the season 3 review. And yeah, I'm kind of nervous about what to expect because I really don't know where I'm going to go with this. And it does feel like a whole new era for the show because not only am I starting Buffy season 4, I'm starting a whole new show in Angel. And after I watch this episode, I'll be watching the premiere of Angel, which is exciting. And yeah, just the whole structure of my reactions is going to kind of change because I'm going to be following, if you didn't know already, the Slayer Live watching order. So if you didn't know what that is, Google it maybe. Or scroll back and find my earlier video where I talk about, I think it's called The Future of My Buffyverse Reactions or something. And I think I've put a link to the guide there. So yeah, I'm going to be watching Buffy and Angel in a particular order. It's not just going to be like Buffy, Angel, it's going to be a bit mixed up, which I think is kind of exciting. And very different for me as a reactor, so hopefully that's going to be interesting for you guys too. A lot of you guys seem to be really happy with that order, so we're going to stick with that for now and see what happens. But yeah, this is season 4 of Buffy. Season 3 was fantastic, loved how they ended it off, everything with the mayor was dealt with, Faith is in a coma, I'm sure she'll be back. Yeah, Buffy and everyone graduated, Sunnydale High got blown up, Snyder got eaten, Angel left, a lot went down. It was emotional, but it was also very funny and action-packed, as Buffy always is, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take this season. They're going to be in college now, so I feel like that's going to be a very different dynamic. What the fuck is Giles going to do with his life? I don't know. I'm excited. Are we going to meet new people? Who's the villain for this season going to be? Because the mayor is gone. Will Willow continue to be a cinnamon roll? Probably. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited to get into this and see how they're going to kick off this new season. I've been told, and this applies to Angel as well, to not watch the opening credits, so I'm not going to. I probably would have done anyway because I imagine they'll have lots of new scenes in the credits, which I don't want to see. So yeah, very, 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 very excited to get into season 4 of Buffy, see what's going to go down, how they're going to kick off this new season. I'm sure you guys are excited too, and you've waited long enough, so thank you for your patience. Let's get going, season 4.
How do you get to be renowned? I mean, like, do you have to be nowned first?
Yes, first there's the painful nowning process. Wait, images
Whoa.
of pop culture. This is good. They watch movies, TV shows, even commercials.
Who does that?
Is it? It's exciting though, isn't it?
Hello, child.
It's gonna be an adjustment. I just need to figure out how it's gonna work with my extracurricular activities. I just can't let it take the edge off my slang. I gotta stay sharp.
Oh my god.
Is this guy ever gonna wake up?
Aw, I feel very protective of her. Feels like she's a new girl over again. That's sad. Everyone was celebrating her as Sunnydale, and now she's back at this, like brand new again.
And I can just feel my mind opening up, you know? And letting this place just thrust into and spurt knowledge into... But once ended up in a different place than it started.
That's Oz's job.
I'm all for spurting knowledge.
Boyfriend! It's my on-campus boyfriend.
Oh no, I forgot to pick mine up. You heard anything from Xander?
Not for a while. He's still on this cross-country see America thing. He said he wasn't coming back until he had driven to all 50 states.
Oh.
Did you explain about Hawaii?
Our old library just didn't have the greatest selection. But this...
Yeah, this is...
Do you have
great.
Dr.
You know,
Seuss?
if we ever need a place.
into psychology.
I did psychology!
I'll get him.
We're meant to be
You know,
together.
this store discriminates against short people.
Oh, I think there's a protest next week.
Oh!
I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
I'm okay. I don't meet that many freshmen that know that much about psychology.
Well, it's fascinating.
Yeah, you know, because everyone's got a brain.
She's not wrong.
Not that I'm a crazy partier. Oh, and I'm not always this hyper either. I'm just excited.
She's just crazy.
Yeah. This whole year is going to be super fun.
Celine Dion. Oh no. You're gonna have to kill her. Pretend she's a vampire. Your heart will go on.
You are sucking energy from everyone in this room. They came here to learn.
Alright, buddy.
Get out.
I didn't mean to suck.
Leave! Thank you.
Jesus. You need to be a dick.
Yesterday, in the bookstore, you don't remember.
Oh, no, sure, I remember you. You're Willow's friend.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he remembers Willow, not her.
Just stung for a bit, and I...
Those of you who fall into my good graces will come to know me as Maggie. Those of you who don't will come to know me by the name my TAs use and think I don't know about, the evil bitch monster of death.
New big bad.
Make no mistake.
Did you, lose your way?
Me? Oh, no, I'm just going to Fisher Hall, which I know is on the Earth planet.
That's not Pedro Pascal, is it?
Recently voted most pathetic gal. I only have a security blanket. Unless, of course, you count Mr. Pointy.
Mr. Pointy?
Oh, bike path.
Ah, Kendra.
It's nice to know that I'm not the only.
Maybe even make it through the year.
Good night.
No.
Oh no, where are you gonna die? You're either a new love interest or you're gonna die. And given things I've seen you in before, yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry.
hello.
Did you lose your way?
Oops. Have they taken all this stuff away? Pretended he's just left or something.
Does this sweater make me look fat? No, the fact that you're fat makes you look fat. That sweater just makes you look purple.
It's a bit savage.
We eat when I say we eat. Well, we could hit the
You're a
tunnel.
bitch.
Eat when I say we eat.
God, lighten up.
Giles?
Rupert, is this blue cheese or is it just cheese that's gone blue? You're not Giles.
You know that the door was open.
You're not Giles
so
either.
Just,
Buffy, hello.
is this a bad time?
No.
There could be a gang of vampires working the campus. We need research and charts and stuff.
I still don't see where I fit in. You haven't described anything that you can't do yourself.
Okay. Remember before you became Hugh Hefner when you used to be a watcher?
Officially, you no longer have a watcher.
Hi Eddie. Nice knowing you, Pedro.
Oh, I'm Sunday. I'll be killing you here in a minute or so.
You know, that threat gets more frightening
Okay.
every time I hear it.
Are we gonna fight, or is there just gonna be a monster sarcasm rally?
I'm in for a piece.
I'm in for the sarcasm rally.
I think you had a lot of misconceptions about college. Like that anyone would be caught dead wearing that.
It's just when he's actually dead. Rude. Oh, Jesus. And I thought Sunday was supposed to be the day of rest. Aww. Is that out of place being like a slayer and a student? I also miss Xander and Cordelia. I miss Xander, fucking hell.
I figured it'd be nice to come and crash for...
Oh, well, yeah.
Is your room
No, I
changed?
didn't think you'd be back
Oh,
for a
no.
couple of weeks.
Hello? Hello?
Oh! 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 Oh. Oh.
The whole world in front of her? Comes back to this dive.
Xander.
Hey!
When did you get back?
A couple days ago. No one really bothered me or even spoke to me until one night when one of the male strippers called in sick, and no power on this earth will make me tell you the rest of that story. Suffice to say, I traded my car in for one that wasn't entirely made of rust.
I don't know how to stop her.
Then where's the gang? Avengers Assemble. Let's get it going.
Yes!
I don't want to bug them. I mean, they're just starting school. They don't need this.
Okay, Buff.
I love that this is
What's the
Joss
what here?
Whedon as well. And he said Avengers Assemble. That's hilarious.
It's just...
Little did he know.
When it's dark and I'm all alone and I'm scared or freaked out or whatever, I always think, what would Buffy do?
Aww.
You're my hero.
Aww.
Okay, sometimes when it's dark and I'm all alone, I'd think, what is Buffy wearing?
That'd be one of those things you never ever tell me about.
It's a...
Xander, come on.
Let's put this bitch in the ground.
Oh
What do you
shit.
say? You up for a little reconnaissance?
You mean where we all sculpt and paint and stuff?
No, that was the Renaissance.
Oh. That's my skirt. You're never gonna fit in it with those hips. We have to kill them.
But do those hips lie?
I don't see my weapons trunk down there. This time we play it my way. And the rules are gonna be just a little different.
I was kind of expecting that to happen, but I thought it was going to be Xander who fell through. Oh dear. The classics.
Say, don't I know you from beating the crap out of you? Buffy wouldn't just take off. That's just not in her nature. Except for that one time
she
she
did.
disappeared for several months and changed her name. But there were circumstances then. How can you be so calm?
Long, arduous hours of practice.
I was going to say that's who he
Either
is.
Buffy took off, or she was robbed.
How are my guys?
Don't even know.
I don't know you, do I? This is very intrusive, isn't it?
A little bit.
Xander,
Kathy,
do we hug?
I think we're too manly.
what's a prank?
I understand.
Oh, and this. This is my favorite item. You don't want to touch that.
Is that her award thing? Oh, this bitch is dead.
You know, this arm's not looking so good.
Yeah, well,
It might
your
have
hair
to
looks
come
stupid.
off. You want to know the truth? I only need one.
Oh! Yeah, that's a good line. Okay, she's coming back.
Let me answer that question with a headbutt.
Look at this crime-fighting team.
The arm is hurt. It's not broken.
Oh!
I'm good.
Bye, bitch. You can fix that. Get some glue.
All right?
I love that she
mean,
took that
no one
first.
owns it
That's like
except
the most sentimental thing to her.
Dibs on the rowing machine.
So to hell with what's right. I'm ready to back you up. Let's find the evil and fight it together.
Great. Thanks. We'll get right on that.
I knew they showed that vampire getting away for a reason. Oh! What's that? Hello. Then maybe they're just playing paintball. Or... Okay, I think that was a really good season premiere, really solid start to the season, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going to go from here. It definitely felt very fresh and new. Fresh. And like the new setting, we met a lot of new characters, like the new threats and everything. It did very much feel almost kind of like a semi-reboot. In a similar vein, I suppose, to season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. If you watch that show, you may not. Although maybe not quite as drastically different as that. But nonetheless, it felt very kind of new. I think also that comes from it being shot differently, with different cameras maybe. I don't know how that worked behind the scenes. But just the way it felt, it seemed a bit more like a movie, I suppose. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I really liked that, and how, you know, it shows the evolution of the show, not just in like the characters and how the story changes and evolves. Like, we physically see it as well, which I think is actually a very interesting kind of thing to document. So I really enjoyed that kind of feeling, and while Buffy was finding all this thing very new and scary, us as an audience can feel that too, because we're spotting all these different changes. You know, Angel wasn't around, although very brief cameo. I think that was, they did get David to do that like one quick bit, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I really liked, quite rightly, that it focused on Buffy, much as I think the premiere last season did as well with Anne. I mean, the show is named after her. So I really enjoyed how we were showing her kind of get overwhelmed and be a bit out of her comfort zone and out of her element. And I think the idea of comfort was a big theme in this episode, which I'll talk about in a minute. That's something I wrote down. But it was kind of interesting seeing Buffy kind of be out of place, kind of going back to almost the place she was in season 1, where she was in a new place, she was like the new girl, hadn't gotten to the swing of things yet. And across 3 seasons we saw Sunnydale really accept her and really appreciate her and give her that award in the prom, and then end up fighting the big threat with her. Now she's back to being kind of the unknown and forgotten again, like that Riley guy who remembered Willow but not Buffy. And even in that scene where she like knocked those books over, I thought that was kind of weird at the time, because like, you know, with like her Slayer strength and her instincts and stuff, I thought she'd be able to catch those books, not let them hit him. But then we kind of see she wasn't quite at her best, I think, and at her comfort being a Slayer on that campus, and, you know, she wasn't familiar with the territory and stuff. So it kind of made a lot more sense in terms of that context. So I really liked how they explored that, and seeing Buffy kind of be a bit overwhelmed by not only too many things, like that dickhead of a professor, ugh, what an arsehole, and like this workload and the new roommate, the new location, you know, Joyce filling her room with these crates, Giles seemingly kind of not as ready to get back into the swing of things as she is. All of that is overwhelming her, but there's also an absence of things like Xander. So there's unfamiliarity in all these new things, but at the same time there was things being taken away because Xander wasn't present for like the first 2/3 of the episode. So I think all those combinations of things, it was a really interesting thing for them to explore that and how that affects Buffy, because we saw like Willow and Oz were kind of taken to it like a duck to water. Everyone else kind of seemed to be getting the hang of it as well. And the one person she met, what's his name, Eddie, Pedro Pascal, I think it was anyway. The one guy she met that was kind of in the same boat as her ended up getting killed because he was weak, and that was the targets of these vampires. So I thought that was really, really interesting, that any sense of normality and familiarity and kindness she was experiencing was then taken away from her. So I really liked how we were exploring that and her overcoming that. And again, like the theme of isolation, like I think was a big thing in season 3. And at the start of season 3, she was isolating herself of her own accord. And here, I think it wasn't really her own fault, it was just circumstances. Because everyone was caught up in this new exciting college experience, and Xander was travelling, and Giles was kind of sitting back and relaxing a bit, I think. So I love that story and her kind of slowly overcoming that, building her confidence back up, and I think Xander played a big part in helping that. And then she kind of got her mojo back and killed that Sunday bitch. Took them all out, and I think we'll be able to see her be a bit more comfortable with stuff now, and hopefully she'll be able to like balance the classes and everything. But I can understand from like starting college and then starting uni, like how different it is. Because when I went to college, obviously I think it's different when you leave high school in America, isn't it? Because college for them is university, isn't it? Whereas we had college and then uni from like 16 to 18, you normally go to college, and 18 onwards is uni. So I lived at home when I was at college, then uni, I lived away from home for the first time. And that's really overwhelming, and it's all completely new and everything. So I really kind of connected to that personally, especially because I'm about to finish uni. So I'm kind of like, oh wow, this was me like 3 years ago. So I loved that focus on her with this premiere, as it should be really. And yeah, we met a lot of new characters, but also some old ones as well. I think it was kind of sad almost, the idea of Joyce not expecting Buffy to be home so soon. And obviously Buffy was a bit overwhelmed, and kind of like that. It's almost like she didn't even have a place of comfort to come back to. And it's this idea of comfort that I think was interesting, because Buffy wasn't comfortable in this new place, whereas we saw Willow and Oz definitely were. And we had this Sunday who had had this routine that she'd been doing for like, well, at the time, this was like 1999, wasn't it? So at the time, that would have been like close to 20 years. She was like going through this routine, so she's very comfortable in her role as like this leader of this vampire gang. It seems Joyce was somewhat comfortable already with Buffy not being there. Hopefully we get to explore that a bit more, but it was nice seeing Joyce nonetheless. Giles had kind of grown comfortable with just not really doing much with himself and just being alone at home. Well, not alone at home, with Olivia. And not just jumping back into like the training and that whole kind of thing. So that was interesting. That whole kind of idea of comfort that was running through this episode I thought worked really, really effectively. And seeing them all kind of break that. Or, well, break it or get back into it. Buffy got back into her comfort zone by the end of the episode. Giles broke out of it when he went to like help out, and I really loved that scene. That was really funny. A lot of funny moments in this episode, especially Buffy falling through the window. That was hilarious. So yeah, the comfort and isolation themes are really cool. I really liked the idea of like this group of vampires who were like preying on like the fresh meat, if you will, the freshmen. And like picking on the weak ones and just stealing their stuff over all this time. I thought that was really cool. And how Buffy and Xander worked out where their base was, I thought that was really interesting. And Sunday was a somewhat interesting villain, you know. I think it was her overconfidence that killed her in the end, which is kind of a big flaw for many things. But you know, kind of a villain of the week. But they spoke to the theme of the episode, I think, and they played into Buffy's story, so we don't really need them to be like the best villain ever. Because it's not like she's going to be like a season-long villain, because she's toast. Well, she's not toast, she's ashes, but you know what I mean. But I did like the idea of like these vampires like preying on the weaker new students, pretending that they'd quit college or whatever, and then taking all their stuff. I thought that was really funny. And you know, some moments in that were played for laughs, so I think that worked really well as the villain for this episode. So yeah, they were kind of interesting. Sunday made for an interesting villain. We saw Kathy, the new roommate. She seems a bit not quite there. She seems, I think that didn't help with Buffy being overwhelmed by things, because she seemed to be a lot. And yeah, don't know if we're going to see a lot more of her, but I'm interested in seeing where they're going to go with it. Professor Walsh, I don't know if we're going to see more of her. She was kind of interesting. And Riley, Eddie's gone. That's kind of sad. He seemed kind of nice, but yeah, he's dead. And we also met Riley. I did find it very interesting, his role in that. He's not only a TA, but he remembered whether or not Buffy. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Because in you know, in high school it probably would have been the other way around in like season 1, 2, or 3. But as Willow was kind of saying, like, this is where she was meant to be almost. This is where knowledge isn't frowned upon. I kind of like that. So people are kind of taking more notice of her. I thought that was very interesting. So I liked all of that. The isolation in Buffy getting kicked out of her class, adding to that theme. And I also kind of found it interesting with Giles. I wish we'd seen a bit more of him in this episode, but I liked the idea that he'd just grown comfortable not really doing anything and just lounging around with Olivia. And then he kind of snapped out of that at the end, and you know, he kind of realised what the right thing to do was. I liked that a lot. So that was a cool, interesting arc for him in this episode. And then Xander, I really liked his absence from like the first half, maybe 2/3 of the episode, and then when he showed up, it was a really kind of cool moment because it was when Buffy really desperately needed someone. She was at her lowest point of the episode. Then she goes to the bronze and Xander shows up. Loved that. The comment about what Buffy's wearing aside, Xander was fantastic in this episode. Loved how he helped out, gave that speech to Buffy to try and like motivate her and stuff, and said he always thought about what she'd do and that she's his hero. Loved all of that. Loved them investigating the vampire people together. And then him going off to talk to Xander and Oz. And Kathy. That was really funny when he hugged her. And again, I'm living for Xander and Oz's relationship. I don't know why. Something about seeing those two interact is so funny. The fact they didn't hug, because they're too manly for that. I thought that was really great. And yeah, everything Xander in this episode, loved it. I miss Cordelia. I don't know where she's at. And it was weird not having Angel around, but he did kind of appear in a weird way. But yeah. I know we see Cordelia again, obviously, because she shows up. Someone told me that she shows up in Angel at some point, so, Then what else? Oh, the ending. Is this the new big bad we've been introduced to? These like masked men with like the guns and stuff. And like, I thought it was something when they showed that vampire escaping from that group at the end, because they could have just killed them all and that would have been the end of the threat. But then we got that last scene. He got like zapped or whatever, and I don't know if they're just going to outright kill the vampire or if they're capturing him or kidnapping him or something. I don't know why. But that seemed to be the new kind of mystery threat. I don't know if it's going to be for the whole season or if it's just like the next episode or the next few episodes. Who can say? But I'm intrigued to see what that's all about, because I don't really have anything to go on yet outside of the fact that there's more than one of them. There's obviously a group of them doing this covertly. Yeah, is this the first time they've done this? Is this not? I don't know. But I'm intrigued by that ending. I don't really know where they're going to go with it, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, so that was the premiere of Season 4. I can't believe it's Season 4. It's nuts. We're only going to be doing that 3 more times, watching a premiere episode of Buffy. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, over halfway through the premieres now. But yeah, really, really solid start to the season. I really, really liked it. Loved the arc they had going on with Buffy. Loved the reintroduction of most of these characters. And potentially a new threat as well. Xander, honestly, was one of the highlights of the episode for me. And I haven't said that for a while. So I really like that I get to say that. And yeah, I'm really liking how different it kind of felt for the most part. And yet still remained very much Buffy in its way. So I really enjoyed that. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this season. With like this new story they can tell, these new locations, potentially new characters. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. And yeah, that is Season 4. Getting off to a very, very good start. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And until my next reaction, which will actually be not to Buffy, it will be to Angel, Episode 1. Very, very excited for that. No idea what to expect. So yes, so cool. Yeah, so until Angel, thanks for watching.